Happy Sunday morning, everybody. How you doing? I've got our favorite guest, Sterling, here with your questions. Yay. How you doing,
Absolutely, yeah.
Sterling?
Doing fantastic. No,
Good.
no complaints whatsoever.
No complaints. That's good.
No complaints.
And your weather's good. My weather's freezing, but it's sunny. So it should get in the 60s, probably about 69 today.
Yeah, it's very moderate. I mean, we had like some Santa Ana winds this week, that kind of thing. And well, tsunami the week or two before that, but no tsunamis this week. So we're all good. So
Okay, so a first question, does Louis Anderson have a message for us?
He does. And I asked Linda to put this in there because he was around me a good part of the week and yesterday and even this morning. So he really chatted it up. He's a very funny guy, but he wanted to get a couple of messages across to everybody. And some of the most important things he learned in life when he was here were that, body image really doesn't matter. He learned that pretty quickly, that you could actually capitalize on anything that life gives you. So, body image was always a big thing for him. No secret that he said, humor can hide a lot of pain. And he had a lot of colleagues that were comedians that hit a lot of pain. So he had a lot of pain from childhood.
Yeah.
But he went on to say also that as he grew in life, he really he wasn't fearful of death. And so even with the cancer diagnosis that he got, he did not fear death. And I guess he wanted everybody to know that, take your power when you're here, even if you're faced with things like cancer. There may be some people listening to this, but the message you want to get across is like, take your power, move forward, and don't be fearful of anything. And then there are two other things he said to me that were very unique, and you're going to like this, Linda. Right. So the first thing he said was that he said he wants to give thanks to all the Georges in his life. And I said, Georges? What, and he was being a little coy with me. But there were a lot of Georges that were influential to him, including George Burns, meeting him when he crossed over. And he also had a friend, George Wallace, here that, he did a lot of stand-up comedian work with, George Wallace. But there were a whole bunch of Georges he wanted to thank. And he was being a little coy to me because whoever listens to this, he said, the George I'm talking about will know how influential and instrumental he was in my career. So I wanted to lay that out there.
Wow.
And the second thing he was telling me, which I think was kind of funny, he actually thinks you're quite funny.
Me?
He said, yeah, he said, Sterling, that Linda G is, so she's kind of funny, we never had a chance to meet you, but he told me several times yesterday, he thinks you're pretty funny. So
wow.
He finds you amusing. So he giving you a compliment.
Yeah. Wow, that's wonderful. Well, yeah. He reminds me of me a little bit because of the trauma with the childhood, with the violent father. And then he used to say when his father would say something, he'd go, he just cocked the gun and you did what he said. But he did a thing that I never got over. I laughed so hard. When he was doing stand-up, he'd be on, different shows. And he said, I feel so guilty about being in first class that I like to let the coach people know what was going on. So I would go up to the curtain and he'd put it around his face. We're getting ready to have our dinner now. We're having a choice of chicken or fish. And then he put the curtain back. Yeah. I thought that was hysterical.
Yeah, he had a great sense of humor and a lot of friends, and good guy.
He was really loved.
He was just telling me now that Bob Saget gives everyone a shout out because
Bob Saget. Great.
He's with Bob as well. So, but I thought it was interesting. And George Burns was one of the people that greeted him when he crossed over.
Isn't that something?
I don't know anything about the history of all that. So maybe there's something to it, why George would come forward. So.
Right. Did Betty White go before him or after him?
Before him.
Okay.
My recollection. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. So yeah, he was one of my faves. So non-pretentious, just a really kind person.
Yeah. But I told my Linda, I said, it's kind of funny, but he really thinks Linda G is kind of funny. So I thought I definitely want to pass that along to you. So
did he say funny or a whack job?
No, he actually said, he said, Sterling, that Linda G you're doing shows with, kind of funny. She's actually said she's kind of got some chops. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm not, whatever I do because I'm supposed to do it. But comedy, I love comedy, but I could never be a comedian again. I used to do comedy.
Sure.
Post breast cancer as in my bucket list. And I enjoyed it. I loved it, but it's not my thing. But I'm just,
Right.
the one-liners come out on my show, and people just crack up. So, all right, my friend. So, this is the good, ta-da, the good question, because I told everybody on YouTube and on Twitter, don't worry, I'm gonna let you know on Sunday, because everybody said, ask Sterling. What is the unknown space object beaming out radio signals every 18 minutes? And they said it's big.
Yeah. So my team said that, they're very aware of it. It's a navigation device that was developed millions of years ago by the ETs. It's some 4,000 light years away from us, which you do the math later, but 4,000 light years is a long, long way. But it serves as a navigation point to a lot of extraterrestrials who are navigating galaxies in the universe. So it's created millions of years ago, and they use a nuclear device or nuclear explosion to help create it. And that's where a lot of ships navigate from. So if you're moving between galaxies and whatnot, it almost reminded me, they're giving a parallel. I guess when you used to watch Star Trek and they go, Scotty, put it in warp speed. Well, they'd be aiming somewhere, and they're using that as a reference point. So we only just discovered it. I think somebody in Australia, a couple of years ago, a university student or something discovered it, but it's been around for millions of years. So
wow, that's amazing. That is so cool. I got to tell you. And Nancy Pelosi announced she's running for re-election. Do you see her continuing as speaker for another term? And does she have this stamina to continue?
Yeah, remarkably, I do see her continuing to the next full term. So she'll do it, but I think that then that'll be the last term. So,
but didn't you predict that she would do a re-election?
I did, and I put that on the community board, or Berlinda put that up there. We were just saying we always try to hit news stories when they correlate with predictions. Yeah.
But do you think she'll still be Speaker of the House?
I do.
Okay. I haven't really looked at that, but yeah. She's a go-getter, I'll tell you. And her and Biden are just boom, boom, boom. Okay. Why do people always ask this? But how is Biden's mental capacity?
Well, he has a boatload of stress, but that's different than having a mental capacity problem. So I do see he's sleep deprived and probably maybe not eating as well as he could, even though the president is supposed to watch what you eat. What I feel like just within a few short months here, he's going to kind of get back on top of sleep cycles and all that. So he's under a lot of stress, any human being would, but it's not due to some neurological problem. No.
Yeah, he's a Scorpio. When they're strong, they're really strong.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, do you see indictments being issued soon for corrupt politicians?
Oh, certainly. I think we've already had over a dozen indictments for 45 colleagues already, and I see another dozen coming over the next couple of months here. So, I mean, it was Roger Stone and Manafort and the whole laundry list so far, and there's another dozen coming up. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Trump was in Texas and he said, boy, as soon as I become president again, I'm going to pardon everybody. But he's not going to be president again anyway.
No, not in any even alternate universe.
No. Okay. Any update on getting DeJoy out?
Yeah, well, my guides stay consistent on this. They always said it'd be around springtime of this year. So that like March, April, May timeframe. So we're not quite there yet, but springtime, my team is still holding to that timeframe. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because there's two people that have to get in there. There's two more guys that Biden picked, but they haven't, they're going to hold off as long as they can.
Well, interesting enough, I see some legal issues coming up around DeJoy,
that's what I was feeling.
For entertainment purposes only, right? And those legal issues are going to be some of the things that springboard them out of the position.
Ooh, I love it. I love it. Have the astronauts at the Space Center ever seen ETs?
A space center or space station, or what is it?
It says Space Center. I don't know what that means.
I'm going to interpret that whoever asked that question, maybe they're talking about the space station, because I mean, if the Space Center in Florida, they've seen lots of ETs, and the space station, they've seen lots of ETs as well as many UFOs and UAPs. And yeah, and actually it's all, I'm being told it's very well documented in government agencies.
Right.
So yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, they walk among us.
Mhm.
They're trying to help us save ourselves.
Mhm.
Will podcaster Joe Rogan face any consequences for spreading misinformation about COVID-19?
Yes, and it's going to be by summer of this year, 2022. And what's really going to happen there with Spotify, Spotify already has a lot of rules or regulations on their books about not being able to spread misinformation or information, is damaging to the public about, viruses and vaccines.
Yeah, but then why do they still have them?
So here's what I get is there's going to be kind of a trove of artists on Spotify leaving the platform. And then at some point around summertime, it's going to be an economic issue for Spotify. So they're going to have to fall back on pulling them back. So
and use
they
that
will,
list
yeah.
of things you're not supposed to do. Yeah.
Yeah. So congratulations to Neil Young, by the way, for being one of the first big ones to speak out.
Thank you. And I see
And
more big names coming up.
I used to work with him in the early 80s, so I'm not name dropping, but he was always very opinionated, but in a good way. Neil would always tell you exactly what he's thinking, and he still does to this age. I don't know, he's his 70s or late 70s. I don't know. Yeah.
But he seems like the type that doesn't like bull.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, what do you guys see as the outcome for the 150,000 trucker freedom convoy to Canada this week and next? Truckers aren't leaving Parliament until Justin Trudeau lifts mandate.
I guess those are the vaccine mandates they're relating there. I'm pretty sure the vaccine mandates. I don't think they're, what I see happening there, they're just telling me there's going to be a compromise, but the compromise is going to be very aggressive testing. So if you don't want the vaccine, then there's very aggressive testing. And I see that across Canada and also at all the borders. So the US and Canadian border. So there's a compromise that's going to be developed, what they're telling me. But the fallback is you're not vaccinated, then you have to get tested like every 3 days or something. So
I know, but did you see the numbers are dropping just like predicted? Right now, California's they're lifting mask mandates even indoors. So it's amazing. I don't know about vaccine mandates, but mask mandates. I think they're saying anyone who's vaccinated doesn't have to wear a mask. Trump said he was going to be the 47th president. I think you just answered that.
We did. Yeah, not going to happen.
Nope. A few countries, including some parts of the US and Canada, have implemented test programs for 4-day work weeks. Will this ever stick and become a new normal in the United States?
Not government imposed, but many large corporations will adopt it. So it's kind of like almost, it's a little bit of a buffet, so to speak. Like Microsoft has already adopted it. I see many large corporations will, but it won't be regulated. I think it's part of that question.
No, it won't be demanding that you, and there's a lot of certain jobs that can't do, they got to do a 5-day.
Right.
Okay. Does the government have people assigned to listen to psychics and tarot card readers to learn what's really going on? That's a great question.
Absolutely. Because, the government monitors everything. And they should monitor all the social media channels, and certainly YouTube's on the list, and they monitor it for data. Sure.
Yeah. I know I even have China and Iran watching me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can. I don't know where I saw it, but I saw it and I was like, oh, okay. All right. Will one more Supreme Court justice step down, retire, or pass away this year?
I see at least 2 more. They're going to be coming down. So that's a total of 3 for this year. And with a potential of a 4th one, but I think the 4th one may toggle over into 2023. So there's something going on there, but looks like at least 3. We already saw the first one, so 2 more.
Okay. Can you share what happened with the person nominated to SCOTUS by President Biden? And will that person be a Black woman? Will she receive enough Senate votes?
What they're telling me is it's going to be a big surprise. So it does look like it's a Black woman, but it's going to be a big surprise, but it's not anything that anybody expects. So they're just telling me that there's some kind of communication going on behind the scenes. It's not Michelle Obama. I'll just spell that.
I've never saw
But
Michelle.
no. But they're just telling me that everybody's gonna be very surprised. So the list of public candidates out there does not look to me like that's the one, because they keep saying, you're going to be very surprised and very pleased. So
well, I
it
think
looks like
the surprise could even be how many people Republican side vote for her.
Yeah, I believe that's the case. But I see a big surprise coming here. And I asked my guides, name the person, and they didn't provide the name, at least to this date. But it was like, it's not the people that are being shown in the press right now. So
wow. Okay. The other thing is, I think whoever this new justice is going to be really good. And very, very, I don't know. I just feel really good about the new justice. No surprises on who they are. They're very good people.
Yeah, no, I just a pleasant surprise is who's going to get selected, not any kind of a bad surprise, right?
Well, the gentleman that works from Georgia that works on behalf of Biden and help get him in office really has his favorite. I'm leaning towards her because Biden tends to do what he says.
So is it James Clyburn you're talking about?
James Clyburn,
yeah. I forget the lady's name, but I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
She's really pretty. Yeah. Will the new Pfizer Omicron vaccine be better than the old one? And will it really matter which one people take? Entertainment purposes only.
Absolutely. Entertainment purposes only. I'm being told now, and I've been told for a long time, that all the vaccines are effective to a degree. They're effective. Now, the new targeted vaccine for BA2 is like the new, very targeted one. That's going to be effective, but it won't be at the expense of the other vaccines. So whatever you choose to get is going to be very helpful.
Okay. And then they're running out of those pills, but I feel those pills, if you do get sick, are really good too.
Yeah, the one from Merck, and I forget the other vendor. And my guides told me that, remember, there are going to be 4 pills available. So we got 2 so far.
Okay.
Merck and I forget who the other vendor is, but anyway, there'd be 4 altogether within this year.
Okay, more and more people are coming, and that guy from that DeSatan from Florida, all mad at President Biden because they pulled the drugs that aren't helping people with Omicron. That's the only reason they pulled it. He's acting like it's a big conspiracy. Jesus. More and more people are coming forth saying they are channeling from other galaxies or spirit guides. How does one know who is truly channeling and not making it up?
Well, I can take that question from 2 perspectives. One is the perspective of the casual listener, let's say. So somebody that's talking is somebody that claims. So first off, there needs to be a resonance within you. So when you get the information, your guides and angels will help you understand if the information you're getting is true or accurate. So you get a resonance or feeling.
Okay.
Now, if you flipping the equation to the other side, let's say the psychic medium, they do have to be careful. Extraterrestrials, I'll pick extraterrestrials here. They choose very carefully who they communicate with, because they're not assigned to anybody necessarily like your guides and angels are, but they're here to help. So they always want to make sure that whatever communication, wherever they select, will do something with information, move it forward, help. So hopefully that helps. I guess 2 sides of the equation. And I always say trust through validation. So as information comes through from anybody, when you can validate the information, that's when you
that's when you move
trust.
forward. Okay. Oh, this is a good one. Did the Russians cut the underwater cables in Norway? If so, what are they up to?
What I'm being told is that was accidental, but I'm not even picking up that it was Russia. So if we're talking about the fiber cables that connect the Space Command Center, there's 2 fiber optic cables. What I'm being told, it was accidental, but it was accidental because that cable comes up close to the surface in various areas of the ocean. So it's not real deep in certain areas. So
I didn't know that.
I'm getting there was an accidental severing or damaging of one of the fiber cables, and it'll get repaired. So there's still redundancy. There's still one fiber cable still working, but I don't get it was a purposeful event.
Yeah, if it was purposeful, they probably would have cut both of them.
Exactly. exactly.
That
Why would you
makes
cut
sense.
just one and then makes no sense? Yeah.
Okay.
But my guides, they screamed out, it's accidental.
Okay.
So,
Thank you. I got all scared like everybody else, but I really didn't pick up anything on it.
mhm.
Putin water exercises off the coast of Ireland. Will the fishermen in Ireland be safe?
Yes, absolutely. Because only for the one of the strongest reasons is Putin doesn't want bad public relations.
Oh,
So if
definitely.
you're all over the news for taking down Irishmen and their fishing ships, and that's bad press. So
Bad press.
he's certain about it's like they're going to be fine. Yeah.
Well, they try to act like king for a day. You can't tell us what to do. And I'm telling you, you can't tell an Irishman what to do. I can see them all mooning the Russian ships with their brew in their hand, not dropping a drip.
That's right.
And I've said this on my show, one hair on any Irishman's head gets hurt. It's going to be horrible for Russia. So no, I don't see them touching that. You can't touch this. Okay, will there be any significant advancements in the treatment of metastatic breast cancer this year?
Not this year, but 2023. So 2023, we're going to see the first rollouts of some really good gene editing testing. So there they are. And so there's going to be a number of what I see research university studies in this area. There'll be some breakthroughs next year in 2023. But it'll take a while to roll out commercially. So not this year, but it's coming. Yeah.
Is past life memory stored in our DNA and the blueprint for our life path?
Well, DNA is a physical human property. So really the answer to that question is that we do carry all the knowledge forward with every lifetime in our spiritual essence, our spirit core. So it's not really part of the DNA per se, unless you use that in a kind of a general sense. But yeah, we do carry all the knowledge forward. It's all part of our spiritual core. Yeah.
Our core, but you can also call it a spiritual DNA because everything's in there. Everything. Yeah. I always tell people our inside bodies are like what's in cocoon, those light bodies. And I've heard from one author I was reading that when you come out and you're getting ready to cross, you can actually assimilate all the lives you had and the purposes and everything. Everything is there because it's like implanted in that spiritual core. It's part of who you are, but you can't tap into it in the physical realm.
Yeah, well, it's part of what moves you forward lifetime to lifetime energetically with more and more knowledge and more gifts. And so it's all part of you. Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Do you see anything coming up this week? First week of February, my friend.
Yeah, I do. I always hate when I see these, but I do see another kind of controversial police shooting coming up this week. And it's always a problem when I see those.
Yeah.
That's coming up. I see a 45/Trump family member testifying behind closed doors. There's something happening here this week where there's testimony happening. I do see more coming out around these 700 papers. There's going to be leaks in the press of what's in the documents that got released into the committee.
Okay.
You're going to see a release. There's also still a major development around vaccine technology coming up this week, and plus something for 5 years old people, children under 5. And they just told me that there's a bit of a diplomatic breakthrough with Russia coming.
Oh,
interesting.
Good.
So there's some sort of a diplomatic crack in the door where now there's an opening here, a way for everybody to save face.
Because every time I talk to my people and I threw the cards and stuff, I never saw a war.
I always saw a skirmish. I saw somebody when you sometimes you say, don't cross this line in the sand, and somebody puts a toe over the line in the sand. You know what I mean? I always saw that.
Well, he really just doesn't, he hates anybody telling him what to do.
Yeah. And he feels like this is his last hurrah.
Yeah.
So he's got to do something to say that he tried to recreate what was the old Soviet Union, on his way out the door. So, yeah.
Well, they're just now saying a lot of our soldiers have finished something, like they were coming to do something, and now they're getting ready to go back. No, it's almost like they were acting like they were doing something as a, what do you call it when military does tests or they do, it's
You're
almost
talking
like
about like what, like war exercises,
exercise. So
yeah,
they're finishing
exercises,
their
yeah,
exercise. Now a lot of them can go back. So that was interesting. I heard that yesterday.
yeah.
Do you guys have anything they want to share?
They do for this week. One of the things they want to really make clear, everybody, is stay focused on the truth as you know it. And don't buy into a lot of the fear and the nonsense going on. A lot of fear and nonsense going around everywhere. A lot of it goes across the media, but stand in truth, know your truth, and kind of push forward, if you will. One example of that is that I think a lot of people, we have a very vocal minority going on everywhere, right? So the number of, GOP news channels is like 10-1 compared to Democratic like news channels, but they're very vocal minority. If you look at the number of registered, let's say Democrats and independents, it far outweighs, the numbers of the GOP. So anyway, my guys are saying, make sure you stand in truth.
Make sure
because
you,
I see
like
a lot
that
of people,
cable cutting. Everybody assumed it was Russia.
Yeah.
I
So
assumed it was Russia, but
my
I
guys
didn't
kept saying
realize there
that,
was two. If it was deliberate, they would have cut both.
or else the guy that was assigned to do it would have been fired, the Russian
Yes.
guy
Right.
or
Right.
gal, right? So you didn't complete the job. So,
if you don't mind me saying, I had this really strong vision of
Okay.
Navalny getting out of a Russian prison. He's standing, he looks a little bit weak, but he's waving and people are cheering. Does that, I got that strong vision and I thought, I wonder if Putin's days are
Yeah, and I talked about that, I think, on my channel a few weeks ago because somebody asked the question, but I did see him getting out, but I only see him getting out because he's very near passing.
Oh.
And Putin lets him out because he doesn't want that on his hands. So this way he releases him, and if he, his health is very, it's on the edge.
Okay.
So that's why I see him getting released as well, but just
Maybe
it's a
that
Putin
was
effort.
it then. I saw him getting out and I saw he didn't look good though.
I just got a cold chill. So I think there's some angels around him that are going to try to help him when he gets out of prison. But it's only because Putin believes, people are telling him, look, if you don't release him now, if he passes away in prison, it'll be on your hands.
It'll be on his hands. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, my friend.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure getting together.
Fun. So we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Real quick, I always just have to say, if anybody needs to reach me, just sterlingpsychicmedium.com, and you look for the book a session tab. And also I have a YouTube channel. I know you know that, but I have all these people contacting me saying, I didn't know you had a YouTube channel. So yeah, I do.
I post it every week when you're on the show. I post your link.
I know. And what happens is, if you're looking at this show on a streaming box like Apple TV or whatnot, you don't always see the comment section, which you do if you're on a laptop, right?
Okay.
Or mobile phone.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, lots of fun.
It's a good channel. Oh my God. You're fancy schmancy. You know how to do the artwork and the music. All of a sudden with me, you just see my big ass head, and that's the beginning. There you go. Take it or leave it.
Right. All right.
All right, my friend.
All the best.
Take care.
Thanks.
Bye, everybody.